Hello guys, my name is Isaac Rodriguez. I'm the keys player and music director here at my home church, Lutheran Church of Hope. And today I'm gonna give you a tour of what my rig looks like weekend by weekend. So with that being said, here we go. Starting off with the Nord Stage 3, this is my brain keys. I use my Nord as my piano sounds, organ sounds, Rhodes sounds, sometimes some synth sounds, but the majority of the time I use it for be my brain and be my main keyboard. I use this not as just a Midi controller, but I use it actually to get my organ sounds and my piano sounds coming straight out of here to my front of house. But if you also want to use it as a Midi controller, you'll feel welcome to use it as a Midi controller. So moving next, we move into my Mac M1. I use this to run main stage. I use Sunday keys. Shout out to Sunday keys. Especially the layout of Sunday keys is something that, especially having my nano control in front of me, that's something that's been very helpful for me. When I run main stage, I run Sunday key sounds, and lately I've been running a lot of Omnisphere, Reason, and other plugins. And then how I can integrate those sounds with the Sunday key sounds and use it as I need it. I'm sending USB MIDI to my laptop, and that's how I'm able to control my sounds. I use this, I have my external hard drive. I have literally all my sounds on my external hard drive, so that frees space on my computer, and also I have a better CPU usage as I play with a lot of plugins. And then here, controlling also with my computer, I have the Nano Control with the Sunday keys laid out on it. This has been so helpful for me. I use this to control my faders out of my Sunday keys as well as like other stuff. And then together with this, I have this Arturia pad. If you guys seen the Tony pad coming out of Sunday keys, I'm able to control everything from here. So if I press here and I turn on, my tonic pad will turn on, and I also have my chords C, D. So if I need to go to any key and we go from one key to another key, I can just easily switch that up and then turn it off. Moving next, we move into the Moog Sub 37. This is one of my babies that I use the most. I use it to a lot of the time to be my lead synth sounds when I need to, but also I love to also create texture stuff like swell things. Together with that, I have this pedal board, which is the church house pedal board. I use this a lot of the time for my delay, for my verb, the preamps, and then also the POG, and also some choruses and some distortion here and then. And then last but not least, I have this weekend we're playing the song Forever Yahweh, and I love that song because it has a felt upright. For that I use the Noir felt coming from Native Instruments. That's something that for me comes very close. I'm pretty sure that's the sound that they use for this song. And together with that, I'm running my UA Volt 476 as my interface to have that clarity. Of course, I cannot be playing any of these keyboards if I don't have anything to hold it. So shout out to Hercules for sending me these amazing stands. I'm loving them every day. They're very steady, they are very handy. These two are double tire. I have them both to be kind of like on a triangle, and then it helps me a lot to like being able to set it up as much as I want. A lot of people have asked me what laptop stands that I use. Right now I use the Ultimate support stands. The really cool thing about these stands is like I can be a little bit slick when it comes to stuff. So like if you see a lot of people place the Nano Control on the Nord, or they tape it on the Nord. But for me, these guys come so handy because I have my Nano Control on here, and I also have my laptop on the same stand. And people will be like, is it gonna fall? It's not gonna fall, it's not gonna go anywhere. And it's not gonna shake as much as this, but this has come so handy for me because it's just like I can adjust it as much as I want to. I can put this higher, lower, hold my hard drive, not hold my hard drive. But if you're looking for laptop stands, I feel like trying this Ultimate, you can literally put it in any mic stand that you need to. The only thing that you need is just a stand. So if you're looking for something, a lot of people have asked me, Ultimate stands, laptop stands. These ones are very handy for me. Same here, you can see it also over there on my other stand. For those who have asked me, Ultimate stands. What do I use for my MD mic? It's called the Optigate. For me, a lot of the times when I play keys and I play an organ, I don't have time to switch in between pedals. This Optigate has come so handy. This is something that as I get close to the mic, it will activate, it will open up, and then it will close up automatically, so I don't have to worry. So if I'm playing in this keyboard, I can be very intentional, talking to the band, talking to the crew. Same here, I can just be very intentional. And again, I can move this as I need to. And the cool thing about here is that this has two infrareds proximity, and then it has also a red light that it turns on when you get close to it. So you also know when you are able to talk to the band or not. To give you a quick of like my signal flow, one shout out to my production crew here for giving me 10 inputs. I know that. Shout out to Josh and Jacob and the whole crew for allowing me to have 10. So, and they love it too. I'm pretty sure front of house guys, if you watch this, you know that you want to have as much control as you want to of the things that are coming out of those speakers. So for them to having 10 inputs, allow them to tweak things and level things as they need to. So starting off of the NOR, I come on my 1, 2 out of the NOR, and it goes to, it hits my radial DIs here, and then out of my radial DIs, it goes out to the snake, which is back here, and then that goes to front of house. From my computer, I go to this model interface, which is model interface, again, goes out of here on my 1/4 inches, is my radial, and then out of the radio, go to the snake and out to front of house. Next for this weekend is the Moog. It comes out straight from my Moog, comes into the pedal board here, and then out of here goes to the amps. This goes 1/4 inches to my radial, and then that again to the snake. For this weekend, when I'm using my fell upright, from my computer, it goes to my volt. From my volt, it goes 1/4 inches out. Here's the radio, snake, front of house. That's how kind of my signal flow is of my setup. But again, everything varies of the weekend. But the reason why I have 10 channels is because I'm sending everything stereo. So the majority of keyboards that I can play on stage is 5 keyboards. And the reason why is because NOR stereo, Mac is stereo, Moog is stereo. So I hit the Moog mono into my pedal board, out stereo, out of the amps. And then same from the NOR, it's all stereo. And so maybe for a lot of people ask me like how everything is MIDI control or whatever. So my NOR is controlling my Mac. And then that's the only thing that this NOR is controlling. Same for this, NOR is controlling my Mac as well. For big events, where we do big events here, meaning live recordings, meaning Easter, Christmas. The cool thing that I do, I use the external section out of the NORs, and what I do is I actually send MIDI in and out from my NOR to any other keyboards. When I switch a preset, it will switch literally all my computers, all my keyboards and everything. That's a lot of programming, but when it comes to big events like that, we're playing 10 services and we're doing 10, 12 songs. It allows me to free my mind up of like, I have to switch every single keyboard, and then allows me to be more clear of like, if I press my main keyboard and I go to my tool, it will switch my laptop and it will switch my Moog. Sometimes I even send signals to the Moog and my other NORs and my other computers, and then that frees me up so much. My sustain pedal is taped. Tape your sustain pedal so it doesn't run away from you. I tend to tape everything, just that way it's not running away from me. For in-ears, I use JH Audio in-ears. I have the 13V2s. Shout out to JH Audio for making the best in-ears in the business. For my in-ear system here at Hope, what we do is we use these PreSonus boxes. I come from the snake back here, it comes into this PreSonus, and then from here I have a longer cable so I don't have anything on my way. And then this is routed all over around, comes down here, up, and then I'm able to plug my in-ears here. And then what allows me is to have space, being able to move, and of course, being able to move to any keyboard from all the keyboard and not having the issue of like, one, my in-ears is dragging me. We use everything wireless besides keys and drums. Bass, EGs, singers, every one else. Use one of those Shure packs. The way that we do mixes here at Hope, every single song is a different scene. So by instance, if we're playing 4 songs, that means that the front of house will create 4 different scenes for every different song. And then you will ask for what you need and what you don't want to hear, and then they will save that. So every time we go from a song to a song, you don't have to switch anything. Everything will be changed for you because everything is already pre-saved. But there in front of house, we have an SSL, and that allows for us to run scenes for every single song. When we go from song to song, that they switch it automatically scene per scene. And then if from one song you don't want to hear the guitars, you can say, hey, I don't want any guitars. And then if for the next song you want to hear it, you say, hey, give me some guitar back, and they will do that song per song. They will perceive everything, and then everything will be ready for you here on the weekend. For tracks, right now we don't have the laptop out here, but I usually control tracks, or whoever is sitting here will control tracks. We run Ableton for tracks, and then we send everything through Dante system. Depending on the weekend, we use tracks. Sometimes we just literally use click. So the guys here asked me if I have to pick something that I cannot live without it, that I have to play with regardless, I have to have it on my setup, it will be this baby right here. I need to have a Throne, regardless. Shout out to Rock and Sock, regardless if I'm sitting or not. A lot of the times, like this weekend, I'm doing both. I'm gonna sit for the majority of the time, but then I'm gonna stand for Forever Yahweh, where we play that. But I need to have a Throne just because, guess what? When we come and do a Spirit Keys, that Pastor Mike, whoever's preaching out there, I need to be sitting, I need to be relaxing, because sometimes my feet hurt, I don't know how to stand sometimes, so I need to have this to rely on it. So if I have to pick something, it will be this. So for this weekend, I'm gonna pick two of the songs. So first one is Great Things. We're playing that song in the key of C. I have everything labeled here in my computer, so I know what to do. And then in the North, I have my Y Grand. I have that also EQ to be a little bit less brighter and be more to live more in the mid section. So I have my Grand out of here, and then here my laptop. For this song specifically, I'm running a lot of atmosphere sounds. I'm using all different kinds of sounds, but I have 4 sounds in here, well, 5 sounds running at the same time. The first one, I have it titled to be the Big Synth. This is what it sounds like. And then on top of that, I have a preset that I have created that's called the Night Sweeper. So where you add both, this is what it sounds like. Then I have a little bit of plug. So when I play, you can hear that little bit of plug there. And then I have also a preset that I titled the High Pad. And this is what it sounds like. And then here you can see kind of like both layered together. This is kind of like the levels I will use them. And then I have something that is another preset that is called the Square Pad. And this is what it sounds like. But then if I have everything at the level that I'm gonna use it, this is what it sounds like. So boom. And then I also as well have my filter upright. So when we go bigger on the songs, when we go to the choruses, I kind of open more. It's more brighter, you know? So this is what the So that's what I'm using for Great Things. The other song that I'm gonna pick is Oceans by Hillsong. We're playing this in the key of D. Before we come in, I usually use my tonic pad from Sunday Keys. Then I have here, as you guys saw, I have my thing set. I will turn the drum pad coming out of that. And then for this preset, I have 5 sounds that I'm gonna be using. I have a preset that is called the Dark Juno pad. And this is what it sounds like. I'm gonna turn the keys out, and my strings out as well. So this is what my Dark Juno pad sounds like. And then I also have a preset that is called Distance Bells that I like to use. This is kind of like a floating thing. It will just kind of flow. Then for this set, I'm using the wispy violin out of Sunday Keys. And this is what my wispy violin sounds like. It's kind of like a reverse violin. It adds that texture of like that kind of like Hillsong vibe. And then I'm also doing some presets that is called Passwells out of Labs plugins, which is free. You guys should check that out. Sounds like this. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear it, but it's kind of super quieter. And then I also using my atmosphere strings, that kind of like texture, and all together, this is what's kind of gonna sound like. And then coming out of the North, I'm using the Felt Upright preset, which I love. Is one of my favorite piano sounds. And then here I'm using my Soft Dynamics as well, my KBD Touch on 2, my string release. I'm using I think 65% or 60% of compression. 50% or 45% of reverb. And then I have my treble and my mid to be a little bit quieter, since Oceans is a super calm song, super quieter. I'm not doing a lot. I want to be able to just be able to block chords and be so full in the mid section. So this is what it sounds like all together. And then maybe a lot of guys here have asked me, oh, the Moog, what do you use the Moog for? So I use the Moog for lead lines, synth lead lines, like I mentioned. And also I use it for swells and other texture stuff. So for this weekend, one of the songs that we're playing is called We Praise You. Pretty sure you guys heard it. And I know that you guys maybe have heard one of those lead lines on the tracks that is like, so as the moment I heard and I have a Moog and I have this reservoir, I'm like, I'm gonna do it live every time. So the majority of the time I split between and I open up for that part. But I have this preset on my Moog and this is what it sounds like. So when I do that, it comes so handy for me to have that. It's just so much fun when I get to play that live. Something that I also use the Moog for is to do swells. It sounds like this. And the majority of the time when I do that, I tend to do it, you know, when you have a full band playing, when you have singers. But I tend to do this one note thing, or this harmonizing thing. Sometimes I tend to like go from a note to go from this note to go kind of, and it has this texture stuff with the gliding thing that, you know, and then if you're wondering like why this might sounds like when you're playing live or when you're playing one of your sets, well, if you're wondering, something that we don't want, or I don't want for you guys to think is like, you need all this crazy gear and you need an M1 or you need anything that you need to be a great musician. When I start playing, I started with the M Audio 49 keyboard and a 2011 MacBook Air. It's not even allowed to run main stage. But it never was for me a thing that I was like, I need something very good in order for me to be great. I always thought personally that if I can make a crappy, not a crappy keyboard, or maybe a simpler keyboard to sound good, and I can learn out of that, one day when you get something better, that you'll be able to utilize it better. So if I would give you 3 tips today on what are the things that you can do to get started, one would be learn. We live in 2023 and you have a lot of resources out there. You have YouTube, which is free, and you have thousands of videos of tutorials of any kind. So I will say just like spend time and learn. I do that until this day. I go every day, I learn something new. It's all something new to learn, a new riff, a new chord, a new something. Just get hungry to learn every day and never stop learning. When you think you stop learning, learn a little bit more. Because the greatest in the world, the greatest keyboard player, they keep learning every day and they never stop. So tip number 2 would be to start investing from small to biggest. The same way you're gonna learn from small to biggest. So a lot of people want to jump so fast to like do crazy stuff and do crazy chords when you don't know the scales of all the chords from all the scales. So like I will say, 1, learn your scales, learn your chords in every key, but then also the same way you do your learning process from bottom up, do you invest this from bottom up? So Things I would recommend. You don't have to get a crazy MIDI controller. Find something, go on Facebook, go on Reverb, buy something used. You don't need something new. But then, if you're looking for something affordable, you can get the Sunday Keys iPad app. You can get MainStage, which is like $30. And it has crazy sounds there. You don't need anything crazy. And maybe then you invest a little bit and you get Sunday Keys, and then you go from there and start learning. So that will be my tip number 2. And then my tip number 3 will be never stop dreaming. I was a kid from the Dominican Republic who didn't have anything, but I had a dream, and I never stopped dreaming. And then I started finding my place where I belong. I started learning a ton. And today I never stop dreaming. I keep dreaming every day of what is my next thing, and keep trusting God. Pray a lot. That's one of my biggest tips. Just pray a lot and put your trust in God in the things that you learn. And my biggest tip will be, every time you go play, it doesn't matter where you play. If you're playing in front of 1 people, you're playing in front of thousands. Put everything that you do in God's hand and let Him use you, and don't let maybe your ego or things that us as musicians can get so lost sometimes of like, I can do this very crazy thing, but like, is it that, what is needed? So learn what you need to learn, put things in God's hand, and then mature in music. In the last couple of years, I have understood that less is more, and not because less is more or whatever, it's because sometimes that's what is needed. So that will be my biggest advice for you guys. So I hope those are helpful. If you want to see all of this stuff and all of this video, the links will be in the description as well. If you want to see me, how I use my rig, or how my rig looks like weekend per weekend or season per season, the links also will be in the description. I hope this is helpful, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye. It's more brighter, So
want to give you some audio?
I think it will be.
Okay.
I think I know. It's crazy. I know by hearing, by seeing,
I trust you.
by seeing. I know what I'm playing. So, but yeah, this is what the